Brown, pay attention to that.
Who said something? I think it was frickin' fracking back there.
Shocker.
Yes, I do.
Good evening. Welcome to Concord Township Board of Trustees meeting for February 5th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Patriarch, a roll call, please.
Mrs. Lucci.
Present.
Mr. McIntosh.
Present.
Moving to the approval of minutes.
Move to approve the January 15th, 2023 regular trustee meeting minutes.
And I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And moving to our elected official reports, we will start with our fiscal officer, Mr. Patriarca.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci. It's been a very busy first month to kick off 2025. So I'll start with a quick recap on township finances. The treasury balance for the 21 active funds within the township is approximately $5.1 million, which includes $224,000 appropriated for specific projects. The fiscal office was also able to finalize our annual audit with the Ohio Secretary of State, which has been signed by township leadership and officially wrapped up. I was also able to join the board and other township employees this past week at the Ohio Township Association annual conference in Columbus. The OTA is my second experience there. They do a fantastic job. I know Mrs. Lucci is part of the leadership with OTAs, but they do a great job. They put on a series of workshops that are specifically designed for each of the department heads, and it's a great avenue for information and knowledge. And not only that, just able to meet some peers, other leaders throughout the state, and network, find some best practices that maybe we can potentially put into place in Concord Township, and also share some of the the things that we've had success with our peers throughout the state. So a great experience. Look forward to that next year as well, as always. And beyond that, I did speak with a couple residents in January who received their tax bill and pleasantly surprised by what they saw. So those that were concerned about the increase in property valuation and potential other factors that would increase their property tax bill, they were pleasantly surprised. And so I did encourage them to retroactively go back and still watch our Understanding Your Tax class. It still applies. It will always apply moving forward. So a lot of the principles that our administrator went through on that series of Understanding Your Tax Bill is going to be relative for until things change with the Ohio Revised Code. So excellent conversation with a couple of the residents there. That's it, really. The last thing I have to have is a friendly reminder for all the gentlemen that Valentine's Day is next Friday. So,
yeah, right.
a lot of great local restaurants in Concord. So support local, shop local, and, take whoever that special someone is on a hot date. And if anyone has specific questions regarding township finances, they can reach me at my office, 440-354-7516. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Patriarca. Moving on to our trustees, Mr. McIntosh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ohio Township Association, we're a conference tops it. I think we spent a lot of time there. As Mr. Patriarca said, a great organization that puts on some excellent learning, great share of best practice, getting to network. I definitely feel Concord is benefiting by Mrs. Lucci, your participation on the board. I think we're getting more engagement and more awareness of what OTA has to offer. I know I took some time to attend the county officers as the president of the Lake County Township Association. Also spent a lot of time networking with the legislative Kyle, what's his title?
The legislative director.
Director, yes. And talking about some of the important legislation or some of the things going on in the State House that will have effect. As I've said several times, one of the things that's first and foremost for me is the local government fund, and that seems to be in talking with several of our statewide or state legislatures. I went to mayors and managers just over a week ago, and our state senator and both of our state reps tell me we need to be diligent about that issue. So that's something I'm focused on going into 25 to make sure that we get as much funding out of the state as possible. I did have a conversation with one of the residents who sent an email into the township asking about the possibility of Concord Township building or developing a recreation center, something like what Mentor has. And we had a long conversation, speaking of budgets, to talk about what it takes to sustain something like that. And suffice it to say, Concord Township doesn't have a budget for something like that, but we had a good conversation. Did have a resident complain about the condition of Ravenna Road following the chip and seal work last year. And I shared the empathy of that individual and was able to fill her in on what we've been told about that by the county. We will have an engineers meeting with the county engineer this spring, and that's certainly something that we'll talk about. And lastly, it all comes back to dollars and cents, right? I had an email from a resident that was noticing something we said about the 24 budget in the e-grapevine just this week. And suffice it to say, with the levy passing, we're doing much better than last year, and it is affording the opportunity for us to look at other projects like resuming the construction of Fire Station 2. So that is something we are looking at, and stay tuned, because as that project gets some attention, we'll be talking about how we might make that happen. And with that, concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. McIntosh. You know, speaking of the OTA, our township is looked up by the other townships, as we have Andy, who is part of the large urban township association through the OTA. Morgan has given testimony to the State House regarding issues that affect townships. So you guys are also very well looked up to by the OTA. So thank you for going and being our president for our County Township Association. It's very, very important. February 1st was Ohio Township Day, which it's to recognize the efforts and dedication in preserving township way of life. They are the most efficient forms of government. They represent over 35% of Ohio's population, but account for only 2.7% of the total spent on local and state government in Ohio. So that's an interesting fact. So I also attended as a member, as a board member as well. Some of the topics I took part in were economic development, risk management, legislative updates, overview of property taxation, and wellness for first responders. I think it's very important to stay up on education. Being a lifelong learner is extremely important, and I'm proud of our team for going and engaging in those activities and the networking that OTA provides at the annual conference. I did hear this month from a resident who was interested in the veterans flags that are hung on some of the poles that we see in some of the cities. So we were having a discussion about that. And most importantly, we are excited about the announcement from University Hospitals of the $39 million investment with their new cancer services at TriPoint. This is great news for our township, as any investment in our township benefits us in the long run and also provides exclusive services for our residents closer to home. So very, very excited for that. And with that, that concludes my report. So we will move into our department reports, and we'll have Mr. Andy Rose, our administrator.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci, members of the board, Mr. Patriarca, members of the audience, good evening. Start with a few items on the agenda. Item A is resolution 2025 TAC 04. That resolution is to accept the NOPEC community grant. We've done this every year. We've been fortunate as a NOPEC community, and NOPEC does give money back for projects that help us become more energy efficient. This year's amount is $41,978, and we thank NOPEC for those grants back to all the NOPEC communities. Item B is resolution 2025 TAC 05. This is an updated noise resolution. The most significant change and impact is the hours for Sunday, and we've updated many of the definitions. This will go, this is first reading, as says it's a limited home rule resolution. So there'll be a second reading on the February 19th meeting, and that's when the trustees can consider that for passage. Item C is a vote for a purchase order to American Fireworks for $12,400. That is for the 2025 Community Day fireworks. We do this early to lock in a better price with the fireworks company. And the items D and E are votes regarding firefighter personnel. Other items, I continue coordinating with Mr. Patriarch, our fiscal officer, and department heads to formulate the 2025 budget. The Painesville water tank, the one at Hunting Lake and Cryle Road, is scheduled to be painted this year. It is currently out for bid, so I anticipate a summer month painting, late spring, summer month painting project to get that water tower. And I think everybody will look forward to getting that tower repainted and looking good. So we appreciate Painesville investing in that to get that redone. I too am very, very excited about the Tri-Point Cancer Center. That's going to be over at the Physicians Pavilion attached to the hospital. That provides great service not only to Concord, but to Lake County and the adjoining counties. They don't have to drive past a beautiful facility to go downtown. And it brings more people to Concord Township. It will help our restaurants, it will help our stores, it will help our retail sector, and I think that's just fantastic. Next coffee with the administrator is on the 19th, February 19th. On the agenda at the very end, I have placed and requested an executive session. There's some pending litigation to discuss, and then there's also some economic development assistance. We've received some proprietary information, so I've requested an executive session. That one is pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G 8A and B, because we have to meet both prongs, and we do. So I'm requesting that at the very end of the meeting. And then finally, I will be out of town starting tomorrow through Tuesday the 11th. I will be back in the office on Wednesday the 12th. That concludes my report.
Question, you said the next coffee was on the 19th,
Wednesday.
which is a Wednesday. You normally do this on
Oh,
Thursday.
I'm sorry. You're right. It's
Okay.
I looked at the calendar wrong. That would be February 20th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
See, I did listen.
Good catch. Thank you. That's my typo.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rose.
Thank you.
Moving into Fire Department, Chief Sabo.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just to backtrack a little bit, our total run volume for 2024 was 3,216. In 23, it was 3,014. So we increased a couple hundred in 1 year. So for the month of January, our call volume was 264, including 161 EMS events with 131 transports, 103 non-EMS calls, including 6 fires. Inside of Concord, we had 2 of those, 1 vehicle fire and 1 cooking fire. Outside of Concord, we assisted with 4 building fires, which all were very significant, including the big house on Menor Avenue, close to downtown there. We gave mutual aid 35 times, received mutual aid from our partners 7 times, and we had 107 overlapping calls, accounting for about 40.5% of our call volume for the month of January. Fire Prevention Bureau was busy with 60 inspections, getting the year started off right, getting into our local businesses and helping them set up for success throughout the year. In addition to our regular inspections, Concord Township has approximately 37 gas wells listed in our database. Inspector Spangenberg is currently working with the ODNR to update the emergency contacts, location information, and signage to assist our first responders. The people that put those in initially split, they're gone. So now it's up to us to figure out, hey, if something goes wrong with that well, who do we contact? So ODNR has been a great partner on that project in helping us update all of our contact information. The Bureau also did 6 plan reviews for businesses, including, they're working on the plan review for UH right now and other businesses. And they did 6 hours of continuing education and assisted in 1 fire investigation for a mutual aid company. In terms of public education, on January 3rd, we provided fire safety training and explained emergency service in Lake County to a new foster home on Ledge Lake Court. On January 17th, we met with Stonehaven Homeowners Association over electric vehicle charging safety, and to provide information to protect the community. So we've been out just proactively educating homeowners associations and other community groups on safe charging applications for emergency vehicles, especially when they're in a multifamily dwelling where they can affect other people. So there's a lot to installing these charging systems safely, and we want to make sure everyone has the right information. On January 22nd, we provided an overview of the proper fire investigation standards to young people in the Explorer Post from the Lake County Sheriff's Office. So kind of a dual partnership there. And again, we shared more EV charging safety information to the homeowners of the former Creekview Homeowners Association. And on January 24th, with the greatly appreciated help of Master Sign Language expert Andy Rose, we were able to service the smoke alarm system for some hearing impaired residents that we've been assisting over the years. So thank you, sir, for your assistance on that.
Thank you.
We installed 1 Knox box, and on the agenda tonight, we have a request for approval of a new full-time firefighter, William Leganke. Our firefighters go through an extensive process when it comes to becoming a full-time firefighter here at Concord Township, and all candidates put forth an outstanding effort, and we appreciate the trustees' participation in that process, as well as all of our firefighters and officers for supporting that process throughout the last few months. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on to Service Department, Mr. Tim Brown.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Service Department in the month of January was extremely busy with snow and ice events. We responded to 22 call-outs, applying over 1,600 tons of salt in the roadways. Our crews adapted to some equipment breakdowns in the harsh temperatures and provided great coverage throughout the township. The Equipment Maintenance Department was able to make repairs in between call-outs to keep the fleet road ready. In addition to the snow and ice control, our crews were busy with pothole patching, installing snow barricades, and cleaning and maintaining plow trucks. On 1/7, our new salt dome was installed. The collapse happened, I believe, on December 4th, and within just about 32 days, we had a new salt dome up. So it was really good response from the contractor that supplied us the building. Last week, I attended the Ohio Township Association Winter Conference and gained some good information on some road preservation techniques, along with some work zone safety practices. I also connected with some of the vendors at the equipment show to hopefully get some more competitive pricing on materials used in our road maintenance. The Service Department reminds residents of the mailbox snow barricade program. Residents who wish to purchase a mailbox snow barricade can find the application on the Concord website under Forms and Applications, or pick one up at the Town Hall. There's a $50 fee for the barricade. And the Service Department encourages residents with questions or concerns to contact us at 440-350-3225 or by email at concordtwp.com. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Moving on to Zoning Department, Mr. Rose is going to give the report tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Lucci, members of the board. The February report from the zoning inspector. Tonight's zoning report includes highlights and statistics regarding the zoning board's activities, permits, and zoning inspector activities covering 2024. The Zoning Commission and the Board of Zoning and Appeals are made up of citizens appointed by the Board of Trustees to review and make determinations or recommendations on planning and zoning matters assigned to them. The zoning inspector is in charge with enforcing the zoning resolution in a fair and equitable manner. In 2024, the Board of Zoning Appeals took action on 29 cases. There was 1 appeal, 6 conditional use permits, and 22 variance applications. The Zoning Commission took action on 5 site plan review applications. The 5 projects included approvals for Longwood Plaza, Taco Bell, Crossroads Health, Auburn Vocational School District's Board of Education offices, and Auburn Career Center's Public Safety Training Building. The Zoning Commission also held 1 public hearing for zoning text amendments. As for zoning permit activity, the township finished 2024 by processing 378 permits, which is 4 less than 2023. The average number of zoning permits processed since 2012 is 363 a year, so we're ahead of the average. Construction was approved for 45 new dwelling units, which is 43 less than 23, and since 2010, Concord Township has averaged 70 dwelling units per year. So that's a good number. Additionally, 20 businesses opened their doors, making Concord Township their home. Businesses ranged from light manufacturing to personal services, including hair and nail salons, retail, restaurants, car wash, medical, and professional office spaces. The vast majority of these businesses located within our existing buildings. And then finally, the zoning inspector performed 1,144 zoning permit inspections for properties with open zoning permits and received and worked 163 complaints about potential zoning violations. That concludes the zoning report. So they had a busy year.
Yeah, they did. Thank you, Mr. Rose.
Thank you.
Moving on to recreation, we have Ms. Susie Cobb.
Good evening. The Recreation Department has been very hard at work getting programs and events scheduled for the spring and summer. The upcoming printed grapevine for spring summer 2025 should be mailed out in the next couple weeks. It will cover March through April. All special events, including concert series and community day, will be released soon. And we are very excited to have summer come. Some warmer weather for sure. Our rookie sports basketball program started recently, and we filled the 40 kids, 28 of them being from Concord Township, ages 3 to 7. These programs have been a huge success and show the need for the continued focus on growing youth population here in the township. I know that's a program that Sean had when he was elsewhere, and they're just wonderful. Last night, we held our date night canvas painting class with Ariel Inspired Art Studio. There were 12 painters in the class. No experience is required for these classes, but they've definitely become very popular. We will have a few more that are lined up in the next grapevine too, so be watching for those. In February, we have our 55 plus group that is very, very busy right now. Today we had a program with the Women in History called Stagecoach Mary. Rachel told me this afternoon that it was the best senior event we've ever had. So it was a very big success, and I know everyone was having a great time. Next week on February 11th, we do have our library is going to do a cookie science class, and they're going to test how butter affects whether it's room temperature or frozen, or cold or liquid. So that will be a fun class to participate in, and there are still sign up available for that. Let's Cook with LaDonna is February 19th. Foot Clinic with Dr. Saxton is February 24th, and that is almost full for the month of February. That has been a great program that Dr. Saxton has come and done foot care for our seniors, which is really a great thing. And then on February 26th, we have our heart-themed bingo. We have also our youth dance class that are on Thursday evenings, ages 2 to 8. And they are held at the community center. I happen to be there many of Thursday evenings, and those little ones come in just dancing away and having a ball. So hopefully other children will be able to join us with that. And then we have adult programming. Let's Cook with Ladonna will be February 27th. They are cooking smoky white bean chili. And then we have our continuous programmings with gentle yoga mornings with Melissa Hopper on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and gentle yoga on Monday nights, and then yoga Pilates fusion on Wednesday evenings, both taught by Colleen Stone. Some save the dates. Saturday, April 5th is going to be our Easter egg hunt and party at the fire station from 10 to 11:30. We are very excited about this. There's going to be lots of fun things, new things that we're going to be working on. So please come and join us for that. And then April 11th and 12th, Friday and Saturday, is our spring garage sale. We do have openings for those who might want to sell. And we also have, obviously, we want everyone to come and shop at the garage sale. Don't forget also to mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th is our Concord Garden Club's, their annual plant and bake sale. This is a huge hit. It's at 9 a.m. on May 10th, and I personally do all my Mother's Day shopping that day for our moms. So please come and join us. And it is at the community center. It's a great opportunity for people to see what else is going on here. And then we do ask that you would please approve the fireworks for this year's Community Day, which is going to be Saturday, August 9th. Please be on the outlook for the spring-summer grapevine. It will hopefully reach your doors shortly after President's Weekend. And in the meantime, if you have not signed up for our e-grapevine, please make sure you do. We work very hard to make sure communication gets out, and that's a great opportunity for you. It goes out on the 1st of every month, and you can either visit our website at Concord TWP or give us a call at the rec office, and we will certainly get you signed up for that, 440-639-4650. And now Mr. Maxson is going to share a little bit about our Old Stone School.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Susan.
Great, thank you. Welcome. Thanks for having me come talk about the schoolhouse. I did provide a report, and if you take a look at the highlights there, we had 123 registered visitors, people that came in, not counting people that were there maybe for the community garden, decided to walk in because it was hot or 90 degrees, and come in and get in the air conditioning a little bit. We did have 16 total events at the schoolhouse. So I'm very appreciative that since I've been here since 2016 that the trustees and the community embrace the history of the Old Stone Schoolhouse and continue to visit it. We did have a bus tour, and we've had 9 outreach programs. And you can kind of see a little bit below, the outreach programs included Lake Erie College comes to visit with some of their students. Lake Metro Parks uses our schoolhouse for some of their programs. We had a Peasware assist with the Dunham Tavern downtown Cleveland. Camp Klein was a big part of our community from 1953 to 1997. And so Tim Hosdick and his family still regularly help and contribute to the history of Concord Township and Camp Klein. Every 2 years there's a State of Ohio initiative called Open Doors, where they tour the state of Ohio looking at various historical sites. So we had our open door event in September, and various people, about 7 from around the state, came to see our Old Stone School. So you can see there's Community Day, Fall Fest, other things. We did have public requests that came from Andy or via email that we tried to help township people find their history. If you look new in 2024, Karen Warner, who's a DAR member, and we have a new Connecticut chapter in Lake County, wanted to do a cemetery walk, and we have a historic cemetery walk. So basically, you scan a QR code, it takes you to the website, and you can kind of see all the different zones in the cemetery. And we decided to feature veterans this year and a few other select people that I chose, with the goal being in America 250 next year, we'll do our Revolutionary War people. And so it's a chance to kind of recognize some of our pioneer family and legacy families. We had a storybook walk this year, around the community garden there, and that wound up being a popular event. We did have 2 different books, so 2 different story walks during the year, a summer and fall one. Susie helped me with that quite a bit. She does all my heavy lifting, so this is very good. And of course, Santa videos this year was very nice. You know, we've tried to go someplace different every year. We've gone to the fire department. We've done it here. We've done it at the community center. Well, we went to Mountain Creek Farm this year, and it was a great day over there. I mean, they were very nice. Ken and Debbie were very nice to us over there doing that. And you can see also I'm on the America 250 committee member with the county commissioners and Neil Stein and everything. So that's coming up there. And Andy and I are going to meet and talk about that in the next few weeks here. Major collections, you can see we did acquire quite a bit from the Loheiser business, which is where Pinky's is, and Bremix was that corner of Concord Township. We did get artifacts from the fire station, from the previous fire station, the old one. We continue to get a lot of Camp Klein artifacts as people come and visit us. They say, hey, I was a lifeguard there, and they give me something or a program or clothing or whatever. We did quite a few books from the 19th and 20th century. Some of it is Concord residents, and some of it is Stone School artifacts. And the Garden Club gave us their dedication shovel from their beginning. And I do have some aspirations, if you can see. I'm hoping to acquire some display cabinets that we can permanently install at the Concord Community Center. Because one of the things that I have, not problems with, but the Stone School is only so big. And people keep giving us stuff and they want to see their stuff, you know, and it's like, okay, you know, is it worthy of a permanent display at the Stone Schoolhouse? Or can we have display cabinets at the community center where I can rotate gifts and things that they've given us, where they can come in and see their, you know, township history and their family history for maybe, you know, 6 months at a time or whatever. So I'd like to do that this year. It's taken a year and a half, but I think I finally wore down the Lake County History Center and Gene Kangas and everything's family to give us peasware, which is one of the major industries of the township through 2020. It was like the last year it was actually in business. I'd like to kind of enhance our storybook walk a little bit, because it does go across grass, maybe put pavers in or something so that people with strollers don't have to push through any mud or soft ground. And then still working on Connie Luta to get some of our air park artifacts. And I know the president, Jen Schuler, from my days at Hiram College. So we're trying to get a more active involvement with Morley Farm and the equestrian center there. I do this a lot just to show you the people, you know, myself, my wife, and Betty Leiby used to help me a lot. As you're well aware, she's 96, so last year she didn't help as much, but she sent her daughter in her stead, so to honor all of her commitments. So you can see hourly rates are valued for volunteers at $33 an hour. So when you apply for grants or whatever, if they ask if you have any community engagement, it gives you a baseline. Then on the back side, I have all the records going back to 2005 when it opened up and attendance. So there's only 2 years, 2013 and 2015, where I couldn't find any records of visitors to the schoolhouse. So that's my report for the year.
Thank you, Mr. Maxon.
Dan, thanks so much for all you do, and your wife and everyone helping you. It really means a lot to us, and we're so lucky to have you. Thank you.
I'm lucky to have a heavy lifter.
Yes, that too.
Sean and Rachel too, but and Andy said he's gonna help me this year too.
Okay.
Right?
Which part? Yes.
So we'll be all prepared next year for the big event.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Great, thank you.
And then last but certainly not least, our Lake County Sheriff's Office, we have Captain Patterson.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the month of January, Lake County Sheriff's Office had a total of 979 calls for service in Concord. Under traffic, we had 2 injury accidents, 22 property damage accidents, issued 37 citations, and issued 238 warnings. We had a total of 13 arrests. Of those, 2 were warrant arrests, 3 were OVIs in the areas of State Route 84, State Route 44, and then Little Mountain and area of Little Mountain and Morley, where which involved the one vehicle crash into a pole. That was OBI as well. A male was arrested for assault on Old Johnny Cake. A female was arrested for disorderly conduct on Auburn Road, Tri-Point specifically. We had 4 traffic stops resulting in felony drug arrest, all for possession of meth and paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia. The traffic stop on State Route 44 at State Route 84 led to the driver being arrested for being a convicted felon while in possession of a stolen firearm, reported out of Cleveland Police Department. He was charged with felony receiving stolen property and various felonies for possessing a weapon under his status. We also have an arrest warrant that resulted from a traffic stop in the area of I-90 and 44. I believe this violation was from the area of Cryle and Auburn on the no-turn zone. From that stop, an adult male passenger fled the vehicle, dropping outside the vehicle a loaded firearm. Our deputies are familiar with the male and who had at that time had numerous felony warrants for his arrest. They have since developed a probable cause warrant for his arrest and continue to work that. He's also facing obstructing charges. Going back to some of the stats here, we had 62 business checks, 48 community policings, 56 alarms, 33 suspicious incidents, 18 animal complaints, 8 thefts. One of those thefts was a shoplifting at Sheets that was handled with a no trespass order at the wishes of the business. We had one of those thefts also was a stolen vehicle reported off of Auburn Road that was recovered days later by Cleveland Police Department. Cleveland Police Department was charging for receiving stolen property on their end of that. We had a reported burglary on Newcastle Lane off of Old Johnny Cake. Quite a bit of valuable jewelry was taken. It's still an active invest, but deputies worked really hard the same day it was reported and developed not only a suspect, but recovered several items that were taken to a local merchant. Continue to look at that. Let's see here. So just to touch on some of our first quarter training as well, Road Patrol deputies have attended a firearms maintenance course, and this month, actually next week, they will be attending our annual use of force and search and seizure courses for the year. Our dive team, actually, members from our dive team attended a ice diving operations course and held in Rocky River. And for March, we have our TASER recertifications. I'd like to note too, we have a new deputy who's not new to the area, Larry Reich, former Eastlake chief of police. We brought on, we worked with St. Gabriel's School for a while and their wishes to have a resource officer, and he was interested. The goal here for a while was to have this instituted by January of this year, and we were able to do that. I think it worked out. It was the first week of January, and the feedback thus far is anticipated. He's been doing a phenomenal job, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the school. That's all I have.
All right, thank you
Thank you,
very
Captain.
much.
Thanks.
Next is our audience portion. I don't think we have anybody that wishes to speak, so we will move to old business. Seeing as there is none, we will move to new business.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Resolution 202504, a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council NOPEC Energize community grants.
And I'll second. Any discussion?
No, we did have conversation down at OTA because they were there about the good things that we get quite a bit of money from them over the years, and thankful for that.
Yes, appreciate the partnership. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is
introduce on first reading.
I make a motion to introduce first reading for resolution 202505, noise resolution.
And I'll second. Any discussion? I have our second reading at the next,
Yeah.
and that will be a consideration time. All in favor of the first reading?
Aye.
Aye.
I move to approve PO an amount of $12,400 to American Fireworks for 2025 Community Day fireworks display.
And I'll second. Any discussion?
Nope. Just look forward to Community Day. They do a great job.
Yep.
Agree. All in favor?
Aye. Vote to approve the conditional offer of employment to William Leganke as full-time firefighter effective February 9th, 2025, pending new hire paperwork.
And I'll second. Any discussion?
We have had consistently great pools of applicants to choose from, and every decision to hire these firefighters full-time is a difficult one, and Mr. Leganke did a great interview with us, so I welcome him and excited for that opportunity for us.
Agree. It's always, we always look forward to the interviews, and I'm so taken aback by how great these guys are. So like you said, it is very difficult to make the decision. Mr. Leganke did have a great interview, so we're happy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vote to approve voluntary demotion of Anthony Iliano from firefighter 1 to part-time regular firefighter medic effective February 23rd, 2025.
And I'll second. Any discussion?
No, thank him for his service.
Yes. Happy for him. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is future meetings and announcements.
February 12th at 7 p.m., BZA meeting here at Town Hall. On February 17th, Town Hall will be closed to observe President's Day. And on February 19th, from 5 to 5:30 p.m., we'll have our special meeting with Concord Township in the conference room.
Chardon Township.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chardon Township.
And Concord.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both parties.
Yeah.
From 5:30 to 6, we'll have our regular trustee office hours in the conference room. And at 6 p.m. on February 19th, we will have our trustee meeting at Town Hall.
Thank you.
And final, make a motion to enter executive session to discuss pending litigation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22 G3 and for economic development assistance pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 122 G8 A and B, and to have Mr. Patriarca, Mr. Rose, and Ms. Matheny join the executive session.
And I'll second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. McIntosh.
Yes.
Mrs. Lucci.
Yes. So we will move into executive session, but this will close the trustee meeting, or the trustee minute meeting for this evening. Thank you, everyone.